am Breawn Felix. I am the California Director of Virtual Design and Construction and Detailing for the region of California and Hawaii. And I work for Swinerton. I've been with the company for 10 years, just hit my 10 year. And I think the people would come to the top of my mind of why I keep coming back. I love working with the people that I work with. Yes, my path to my current position. I ended up here at Swinerton as an MEP coordinator. I came from the subcontractor side, doing plumbing, mechanical piping, modeling and detailing. That landed me here at Swinerton. I came up through the virtual design and construction department, built a team from 2 to 10 and now 29. So yeah, I just worked my way up through the department, got involved in as much as I could, and now I'm the California Regional Director. What inspired me to pursue a career in construction? I would say as a young kid, seeing my grandpa do a lot of engineering and architecture for feed mill trucks. So playing with his protractor and his drafting table and his old school printer kind of, I think, planted the seed for me. And then, through junior college and college, I kind of found that path of construction, and I got into my field of study, which I thought was going to be architecture, didn't get in there. Got into construction engineering technology, and my first class I knew that this was something that I wanted to pursue. And I continued with that, and here I am. I wish people knew that construction is not just about being in the field, wearing a tool belt and building. There's a whole nother side. Obviously that is very important side, but there is a field side or an office side to that we need each other. So, if you have people in the field building, that information is coming from somewhere to be able to build. So I think the most important thing is to remember that it's not just a rough and tough time in the field, that there are office admin workers that contribute equally to the project. Unique perspective, I would say relationships. You might not think early in your career that relationships are important, but in anything that you do, you'll learn that the relationships are key, whether you're in the field or the office. Having those relationships will help you and help that other person get to the ultimate goal, which is to build our projects successfully. What do I like most about my job? I would have to say two main things. One, the people I work with are amazing. And two, the feeling of helping solve problems before they even get to the field. So we're kind of the unseen problem solvers. We come in before projects even break ground. We reduce the amount of problems that will end up in the field. And then nobody ever knows that those problems would have happened except for us. And then we just pat ourselves on the back. So day to day, starting in the morning, wake up at 4 a.m., get my workout in. I feel like that is what sets me up for the day. The hard part's over. And then I drive to work, feed my dogs first, drive to work, get into the office, and I open up my task list, which I separate into what do I need to do now, what do I need to do next, what do I need to do later. Prioritize, shift things around there, and then I get to work on whatever it might be, which is a lot of vision work. So I'm not so much working on the projects anymore, but I'm working on the vision, working on people. My role is a lot of people management and people development. So I'll just kind of knock off the list what is the most important critical task to get done next as it relates to vision and people. What drives me to get up and go to work every day? I'm gonna have to go back to the people that I work for. Although I'm primarily in the office, I do think about our field teams and where the work is executed. So I feel like I owe it to them to get up every day, come to work, do the best that I can, make sure my team's doing the best that they can to support them in the field. You know, it's one thing to talk about company values and company culture, but it's not what you talk about, it's what you actually act out. So having leadership around us and showing that our core values actually are what we live and die by, I think that makes the culture, and you'll see it. It's not just something that somebody talks about. We are a safety first company. We always provide an opportunity for our safety department to speak in all of our meetings. So we have, quarterly safety meetings that is mandatory to attend. Usually those are just online meetings, so there's no excuse not to join those. We have quarterly PM meetings, PE meetings, superintendent meetings. Safety is always in those meetings. Then we have our once every other month leadership calls where safety's in those meetings. And then we have like ops calls, division manager calls, and safety's in those meetings. So this is definitely a safety first culture at this company. And I'd be surprised if everybody wasn't up to speed on the safety protocol. When I was younger, I wanted to be a marine biologist because I loved SeaWorld and wanted to swim with Shamu. So I thought, I could just be a marine biologist and be able to do that. But then that changed to something with art. So I kind of went the art path and got an AA doing art, and then I went to interior design, graphic design, and then that's ultimately what led me to kind of getting into construction, was an architectural path and then into construction. So marine biologist, artist, now I'm in construction. Again, remembering that construction is not just being in the field. We have, I'll just say, 25 different departments, and each department plays a very critical role in the actual construction of a building. From compliance to virtual design and construction to safety to quality. So there's so many different roles to be filled. And people have different expertises, and it doesn't mean that you have to go lay tile or, push a broom in the field, or although those are very important parts of construction. Think bigger. Think about what you are good at, and there's probably a position for you in construction. Leadership capital. Every interaction you have with someone is either depleting your leadership capital or crediting your leadership capital. So every interaction you have is either negative or positive with someone, and you control that. You control how you speak to someone, how you react to situations. And likely in construction, you're gonna need those relationships in the future. And if you have someone that you've built a strong relationship with, leadership capital, then they'll more than likely be willing to do something for you and you for them in the future. I would say when I first started working at Swinerton, one of my first jobs was a 40-story building. I'd never coordinated a high-rise before. I really did not know what I was doing. However, I did work on the same job from my previous employer. So started in the project, worked hard to understand the systems and how they were different from other buildings. You don't really necessarily get a pat on the back when you're doing a good job or a bad job until the project gets built. And then in my position, you would find out at that point if you did a good job or not. But I remember for this specific job, I went out to the job site often, and I met the superintendent out there, who is now our division manager for OCLA, Pete Ruiz. And he said, we ran into each other out there, but he said, "Oh, you're Breawn." And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "I've heard you on the calls." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "You're doing a really good job. This is amazing." So it was just, when I didn't think anybody was really paying attention or listening, not only was he listening, but he was also seeing the work that I was doing actually be put in place, and it was successful. So that for me was, that little bit of praise went a long way to see that it's not just unnoticed. The long nights, they were making an impact in the field, and that was important to me. I think for the last 3 or 4 years, I've really done a good job of separating, when is work and life. I don't know that anybody has a balance of work life. I think it's going to teeter one way or the other at any given time. It's just a matter of knowing when you need to draw the line on something. So stop saying yes to everything, and stop trying to make it to where you're afraid to say no because you don't want to upset that person when it ultimately is going to affect your home life. Just drawing boundaries and understanding that some weeks are going to have balance, some weeks are not. But it's not a permanent thing, and it shouldn't be like that. So I think over the last 4 years, I've really practiced that, and I feel like I have a really good balanced imbalance. And it's not affecting my mental health. I feel like it's a good balance right now.